Hey guys, welcome to Game Bad. Today bringing out a video for our movie weapon series. And today we'll be covering Universal Soldier Regeneration. And we're going to be covering the NGUs Arsenal AK build. The NGU played by former UFC champion, MMA fighter Andrei Arlovski. So let's go ahead and jump into this. We'll build the weapon and then we'll get into some gameplay where I'll go over some information from the movie. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Here is our final design for the AK build modeled after the Arsenal AR AK that's used by the NGU or Andrei Arlovski in the movie Universal Soldier Regeneration. So let's go ahead. What we'll do is strip this thing down and we'll build this up from scratch. So first off, to model this after the version that's used in the movie, this is in the opening scene where the NGU basically takes the Ukrainian Prime Minister's children hostage. And you'll see this in a really crazy gunfight. So first off, awesome movie, highly recommended if you haven't seen it. We're going to go with the Spetsnaz Elite Barrel, so the damage at range and bullet velocity will be our pros. The cons here are going to be the ADS speed. So we'll go ahead and select the steel curtain variant of this with the Midwest Industries M-Lock type handguard here because it's a newer variant, a little bit newer than the old default version. So we'll go ahead and select that. For the laser, we're actually going to go with a 5 milliwatt laser, hip fire accuracy, and sprint to fire speed. The cons is that the laser will be visible to enemies when we're walking, but when we're ADSing and sprinting, it will not be visible. So we're going to go ahead and select that. The optic here in the movie, it looks like he's actually using an ACOG sight, but because we don't have an ACOG, I'm going to swap it out for the APX-5. This is just a standard Russian holographic sight. Going to give us the precision sight picture. The cons are going to be the ADS speed, so we'll select that. And again, here you can see just the different variants. Steel curtain versus the base, really no change at all, so we'll go ahead with the base. We're going to leave the base stock. We'll skip out on the perk as well as the grip, and we're going to go with the ammunition. We're going to swap this out for a 40-round steel curtain mag. In the movie, he's using what looks like clamped two 30-round clamp magazines together, the Arsenal mags. So I'm actually going to be using, I'm not going to use the steel curtain. We're going to use a Tim Hoda because this looks more similar to what the Arsenal AR, AK AR mags look like. So we'll select that. But in the movie, he does have what looks like two 30 rounds clipped together to just fast mags, flip them around to put that additional magazine in quicker. So, or you could call it taped magazines, I guess. But here, we'll try and match the Arsenal AK magazine style with the Tim Hoda 40-round magazine. That's obviously going to increase our rounds from 30 to 40 rounds of the 7.62 by 39mm ammunition. The cons here, ADS speed and the movement speed. And then next up for the underbarrel attachment. Now, in the movie, he actually has a foregrip and a bipod, which is connected to what looks like the bottom of the rail or actually connected to the grip itself. So for this movie, he's going to be hip firing this a lot. We're going to go with a Merc foregrip to complement the 5 milliwatt laser. However, in the movie here, it looks like the bipod is actually part of, if not attached to the foregrip itself, or perhaps even just an extra attachment that would hook on the Picatinny right there in front of where the Merc is. You still have two rail slots available there, so it looks like the bipod would be fitted in there, and it is folded up and forward. So unfortunately, the bipod here just looks very awkward on this, so I'm not going to be running around with this. It's way too big for the bipod used in the movie as well. So we'll go ahead and use the Merc foregrip. That'll give us the recoil control, hip fire accuracy, which we're going to be doing a lot of, and the cons being the aim walking movement speed and the aim down sight speed. So we'll select that. And that's our final variant of the AK. It looks like in the movie, like I said, he's using an Arsenal AR AK. It has a Picatinny dust cover, Picatinny rail dust cover. It has a very similar handguard there as well with the what looks like a Midwest. It's not really a Midwest Industries. It looks like a Zenico style, but here in the game we have the Midwest Industries handguard there for the AKs, the M-Lock. And then in the movie, he actually has a milled receiver AK. I believe Arsenal keeps that same milled type style receiver. However, they do have what looks like a Picatinny rail dust cover, like I said. Other than that, this is the exact same version he uses in the movie for the most part. He's got that 5 milliwatt laser, however, it's actually located on the left-hand side instead of the right-hand in the movie. And again, we have an APX-5 here versus what looks to be an ACOG in the movie as well. So that's our AK. Really quick for the operator, we're actually going to be going with the Bale stone-faced operator because this is going to more closely resemble what the NGU looks like in the opening scene of that movie. He's all armored up like this. He has the mask on, and again, just to try and replicate like a bulky big, bulky NGU or Universal Soldier, Next Generation Universal Soldier. We're going to go with the stone-faced Bale from Season 1. So this is a really good addition with this weapon. It complements it really well to match the movie. And then really quick, what I'm going to be running with this to kind of, again, try and match just the stopping power of the NGU, or the Next Generation Universal Soldier. We're going to run stopping power. And then I'm also just going to be running, you'll see here, I'm going to be running the Psychov just for a good secondary here as well. We'll have the Psychov there as well. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into the gameplay here. And we'll walk through the gameplay and go through some of the information about the movie. So in the movie, again, if you haven't seen this movie, it came out in 2010 here in the United States. I believe it did have a theatrical release overseas as well. But it did come out in the United States on DVD. I believe it was direct-to-DVD in 2010. It was made in 2009. So February 2nd, 2010, this was released on Blu-ray and DVD. I do own this movie, and I actually just watched it the other day, which made me want to jump into this and do this weapon from the movie. So the opening scene of this, if you're not familiar with Universal Soldier, it was a movie starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren back in early 90s. I believe it was 1991 or 92. And this is supposed to be, Universal Soldier Regeneration is supposed to be a direct sequel to that, ignoring all the previous sequels in between. So Universal Soldier Regeneration is supposed to be a direct sequel to the original one. So it still has Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, and then the next generation Universal Soldier here being Andrei Arlovski, who is an MMA fighter and a former UFC champion. So in the movie, in the beginning here, what happens is it opens hard opening, and basically a terrorist organization kidnaps the Ukrainian Prime Minister's children, and the NGU, or Andrei Arlovski, is the main antagonist here in the film, and he just comes out guns blazing, hip firing this AK like crazy, and you see him a few different scenes in the movie, not only just the opening, but also there's an assault on them later, and he uses the same AK where he just is hip firing and wrecking people. And again, Universal Soldier is more of like a realistic type Terminator, I guess, in some ways. I don't want to spoil the movie, but basically these are dead soldiers that the government found a way to regenerate into life, and basically they're take orders, obey commands, they juice them up with all sorts of drugs and steroids, so basically they're just like the perfect soldier who obey commands, do everything faster, better, without questioning command, and again, very accurate. They're basically the perfect soldier. So if you look at like what the U.S. military would ideally want would be this kind of super soldier program, and this is what this is. So the Universal Soldier, the original batch, would be Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren, and some other ones that are featured in the movie. And then you have the program that was reopened again later on, years later, being the Next Generation Universal Soldier, or the NGU. So basically what happens is, in this movie, a terrorist organization contracts a rogue doctor for hire who happens to have an NGU with him, who is probably the best NGU of the batch originally, because this program was really shut down. So this is an NGU that he somehow stole from a laboratory and is basically using himself as a contractor to use his services with this NGU. And basically they kidnap these the Prime Minister's children, and I won't spoil anything from there, but Jean-Claude Van Damme comes into the mix because he is the best of the best from the first generation Universal Soldiers. So definitely check this movie out. Again, it was released in 2010 on DVD and Blu-ray. You can find it on Amazon, Fandango, things like that if you want to just stream this movie. A lot of action and a lot of really, really good gunfights in this. Just one-shot gunfights where you can tell there's no cuts. They just shot everything straight forward. And it does take place. They basically hold up in the Chernobyl nuclear power plant as well here in this movie. It makes for a really entertaining movie, really good gunfights. And honestly, out of all the Universal Soldiers, this one was one of the best in my opinion, if not the best. I always enjoy watching this movie. It's a really good action film. So let me know down below what you guys think of this weapon. Again, this is the Arsenal AK build that the Universal Soldier, the next generation Universal Soldier, uses in Universal Soldier Regeneration. Let me know down below what you guys think of this weapon, what you think of the movie. Have you seen this movie? If not, like I said, I would definitely recommend checking it out. And if you do happen to watch the movie for the first time after seeing this video, let me know down below what you guys think of it. Also, social media links are down below in the description. I have Instagram and Twitter are the best ways to get a hold of me, as well as we have the Discord link down below in the description as well, where you can chat in there with the community, as well as get a hold of me on that platform also. I also have links to Twitch. That's a good place where I'll be live streaming a lot more here coming up in the next month or two, especially after we get the announcement for Battlefield 6 and some additional stuff going forward. I'm at a little bit of a standstill with streaming right now because I've been very busy, but we will be picking back up. So Twitch is the best place to follow me there. Make sure you're subscribed, have notifications on. And I will be doing some more live streams here on YouTube as well. So be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like it. Turn on that bell for notifications so you're notified when videos upload. Try and do videos every single day. Let me know down below what you guys think of this video. Again, really fun movie, and you can see me just hip firing this AK. Having a lot of fun with it, especially with the stopping power on there. It just hits really, really hard. And surprisingly, with the realism, if you can land those headshots, it's actually not too bad with just hip firing this thing, especially with some of the ranges I was opening up at. But again, beautiful looking AK, really good movie. Let me know down below what you guys think of this. I'll leave you guys with the rest of the gameplay. This is Buffner Gaming with the next generation Universal Soldier AK from Universal Soldier Regeneration. Till next time, Buffner Gaming out.